We're rebranding here at Esoterica. We found that our ratings have dipped a little bit, so we're willing to do anything to get them back up.
That's
including this. You probably think a little bit controversial.
Yeah.
Not a conventional way to sit on.
Well, it's just keying into your bad boy image. So we started the gradual transition into your bad boy image last week.
Yes.
When you broke your light.
Yes.
Which,
I have complete disregard for public
which
property.
still hasn't been replaced. So
No.
Because
I don't replace items.
You haven't earned another light bulb yet. Like you've got to get more stickers on your chart before you get a light bulb. Like so this
I've
is
only got
just
two this week.
yeah. So this is just keying into your bad boy image. It's just it's a gradual transition. That's what we're doing. We didn't want to surprise people with like sudden changes. So it's a gradual
Script writers
transition.
can't be too lazy.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Beer of the week. What are we drinking this week? We're drinking 7 Brews Get Lucky Golden Ale. As I throw it everywhere. Which is a local beer. It's from Aherere, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's it must be brewed by where the Urban Winery is. For those of you from Hawke's, I'm gonna just turn my chair around because I can't do it.
You look stupid.
I look really very silly.
It makes you look very short, to be fair. It's a very high back chair.
I am short. I am very short.
Yeah.
So
I believe the technical term is.
By the way,
Producer Caroline is interrupting our
keeping
podcast.
this in, by the way.
Yeah.
We're not editing this.
Yeah. None of this is being edited. Yeah. I've got to move my car,
James
so we
gotta
will
move
chop
his
this
car.
out. So we're back now that you've changed your chair around. It was longest chair change ever.
Yeah. We just for the comfort of people watching, we edited that out.
Yeah. It took forever.
Took a long time.
It was a good half an hour.
Yeah.
Changing your chair around. Okay, so we're drinking 7 Brews. What did we say? 7 Brews Get Lucky Golden Ale from Aherere. Which I found in the local liquor shop.
Yes. Yep.
So what are you thinking?
I like it.
You like it?
I like it a lot.
It's very descriptive.
I actually enjoy it. We were talking about before the podcast. We're talking about we need to come up with more synonyms for
just better descriptors of like how we do this, because otherwise it sort of sounds the same every week, doesn't it?
I actually really like this.
You really like it?
Like I could drink a lot of these.
It's quite drinkable, isn't it?
Don't do it. Oh. There it is. If you're playing, for those of you playing Beer of the Week bingo. Yeah.
Excellent. No, it is. It's really nice. I really like it. It's a really, really light beer. It's a golden ale. I didn't go for the there is an IPA as well that they do that I saw there, but I went for the golden ale because we haven't done a golden ale, I don't think.
No, we haven't. This is the first. Yeah.
I don't know if we've ever done a golden ale, have we?
I don't think so.
And if we have, we haven't done one in a very, very long time.
No.
But I think it's really nice. It's I would and potentially have drunk quite a lot of it.
Absolutely.
I quite like it. So I'm going to give it an 8.
Oh,
myself.
nice. Yeah, I was thinking an 8.2.
On the only scale that matters. Excellent.
Yeah.
You're just one-upping me this time.
Two-upping
me even. Point two-upping me.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. All right, so what are we going to talk about this week? What's on top this week, Anthony?
Right, so today, what's on top, we are talking about something that has been bothering us for the last sort of week or so, and that has been the media coverage of Greta.
Yeah, Greta Thunberg. Yeah.
Yep, and her trip to the United States. So she's just arrived via boat to the United States of America, and the media coverage and the talking heads coverage has been nothing short of fucking appalling.
Well, yeah, in how they've treated, bizarrely, not even really what she said.
No.
But sort of her motivations for saying it, yeah?
Yeah.
So, because what she's saying is sort of uncomfortably scientifically accurate, if you know what I mean. And she does, and she's talked about, and there has been a response from her to a large amount of the media coverage and a large amount of what people are saying about her in the media, and talking about the fact that yes, she is young and all of those sorts of things.
Well, she's a young woman.
Yeah, but also that the reason that her speeches and things like that sound so informed is because it's not because people are writing her speeches for her, it's because she's talking to people who actually know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And, is talking about statistics and is talking about what's going on and those sorts of things. So she actually does the research into what she's talking about. So she understands what she's talking about.
Reels over fields.
Yeah. So because there was, and it's sort of an insinuation made, or it's been multiple insinuations made that she's sort of been bought off. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that her parents. See what the media have done as well, which I find pretty gross. And you see it. Sky News Australia, by the way. This is how I found out about the media's reaction.
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch owned company. They'd be completely unbiased, wouldn't they?
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing as well. I mean, a lot of these media companies are owned by incredibly wealthy businessmen who it's in their best interest not to combat climate change, because combating climate change would go against quite often their profit margins, or their, in terms of depending on, I mean, if
But
it's a change to the status quo.
It forces change within big business, and it forces the change in your business model, how you run things, what you do, controlling your waste, where you get your energy, all of those sorts of things, and this drive to be sustainable within big business. Quite often, big business will turn around and say that it's unsustainable within their current business models and everything else like that. These are businesses that, what do you call it? Post billions of dollars worth of profit a year, who are turning around and saying, "Oh, well, we can't afford to become sustainable, or we can't afford to change our practices, because it just wouldn't make any sense to us. We wouldn't be making any money." And it's like,
it cuts into what the shareholders, and what I've noticed with the coverage, for example, with Sky News, is that that Stella going on.
She's just having her 2 cents in.
You always know an argument's bad when they don't attack the argument itself, they attack the person delivering it.
Absolutely.
So what's happened with Sky News is that the headline was of the YouTube video that came up was, "She's not the Messiah, she's a very anxious girl." And so the whole clip was this this man, the news anchor, whoever it is, terrible. He was just discussing the fact that she clearly suffers from anxiety, and that and basically saying she shouldn't be doing this. She's being pushed around by her parents. And they showed a photo of her parents, and her parents were wearing an Antifa shirt, which, by the way, now has become a really big thing. Apparently, Antifa's really bad. It's an example of the left being really bad. Being anti-fascist is now a really controversial opinion to hold, being anti-fascist.
Fascists are people too.
You can say that with a straight face.
No, I can't say it with a straight face. But I mean, what do you expect when you've had Donald Trump coming out and like after the what do you call it, neo-Nazi rallies and things like that, talking about the fact that actually, well, there's justifications on both sides, and that
that enlightened centrism.
The time that you can turn around and say that there is any merit to anything a neo-Nazi is saying, something's gone horrifically wrong. But sorry,
absolutely, and that's it. I mean, he wasn't attacking what she was saying; he was attacking her character. Which attacking a 16-year-old girl's character is pretty. I think it's pretty beyond the pale. Really.
But not only that, let's attack. Is she 16 or 17? 17. I think she's 17, isn't she?
Maybe she's 17.
But let's attack the teenage girl with Asperger's.
That's it. Yeah, and that's it.
For having the balls to stand up and say something. And I don't mean that at all as a slight on people with Asperger's at all. Like I think she's absolutely incredible for what she does, and how she delivers a very, very important and very, very timely message. The issue that I think the establishment has with her is that she has no truck with the polite etiquette things to do.
No.
And she's said that herself multiple times. Like, I'm not going to come here and thank you for listening to me, and say it's such an honor to be here, and beg and plead with you to do something and listen to the voices of the children. I'm going to tell you that you are a bunch of fuckwits, and you've put yourselves first for long enough, and you need to do something, and you need to do something now, and I'm not going to apologize for standing up here and telling you that you need to do something. And as you said, you always have to be worried whenever somebody attacks the messenger rather than the message. And we see this a lot when people have nothing to actually attack you about, like, or what you do
Or
about,
your ideas,
or your
or your
ideas about, or what
ideology,
you've
or-
said
yeah,
about,
yeah.
or anything else like that. What they do is they attack you personally.
Yeah.
And it becomes a question of your character, and everything that you do becomes super highlighted about your about your character, about you're this type of person, you're that type of person, you're because they can't argue the points that you're making or anything else. We've come across this in the past.
Oh, absolutely.
Like in terms of you can't attack the idea, so attack the person.
Yeah, that's it.
And I agree with you. I think it's completely horrific that I mean, horrific but not unusual. And what a sad world that we live in whenever we can sit there and say that it's absolutely, completely understandable that multi-billion-dollar corporations owned by the top 1% are going to attack a 17-year-old girl for telling them that they're doing things wrong. Like, what a sad world we live in, that we're like, that's completely, like,
but how sad,
it's completely what would happen.
But
like,
how sad it is that people lack analytical skills or skills to actually watch, say, for example, the news or the media or certain media outlets, and actually not be critical of what they're hearing and just take it all for granted.
But we've talked about this before. The news doesn't report the news.
No,
no.
no.
That's no longer the job of the news. The job of the news is news commentary. Yeah. And they take things that are going on and they put their own spin on it, because that's what they get paid to do. That's what they and this is the stupidity. For anybody who thinks that their news is unbiased, it isn't. It's paid for. It is paid for. The reason that you can watch news for free is because it's paid for. It's paid for by advertisers. It's paid for by corporations. And in some cases, it's paid for by the government. It's not unbiased. The news serves a very specific purpose. It serves the purpose to highlight to you the information that those people feel that you should have, and then spin that information in the way in which they want you to accept it. So, I mean, this has been an endemic problem for a long time.
Yeah.
So you look at the way that things are reported on about Trump. Like, so we'll take the most recent example of Trump pressuring Ukraine to dig up dirt on Joe Biden, which is a blatant example of a president using their political office and withholding foreign aid in order to dig up dirt on a potential political rival.
Incredible, yeah.
And yet, you have Fox News going out there saying, well, no, that's completely understandable. It's completely understandable that somebody in power would use their power in order to pressure somebody else by withholding stuff in order to gain information on a political rival. And not only that, but it's a foreign power. So the president is actively asking a foreign power to meddle in their upcoming elections.
Yeah.
And somehow they're trying to spin this that this is okay.
It's incredible.
And it's the same way with Greta Thunberg. When we turn around and we go, oh, well, we don't like her message. And we don't like the fact that this asks us to look at some very, very hard questions and come up with some solutions. And the fact that it's she keeps saying it's got to a crisis point. We don't want to do that. That's way too hard. So what we're going to do is we're going to assassinate her on live television in front of people, and we're going to tell people that she is, paid for, bought and paid for by people who for some reason have some agenda to push, or that
saving the planet. This is the insane thing about this, and this is what I actually had someone say the other day. There was a group of us talking about it. And he actually said about, we're talking about climate change specifically, and he sort of said, well, there's, I hear the arguments on both sides. The thing is with climate change is it doesn't matter what your fucking ideology or your opinion on climate change is. The Earth doesn't lean towards a political party.
No.
They are just facts about the Earth and the processes that it's going through that are leading towards that are happening with climate change. It doesn't matter. I don't care whether you want to tax the rich or tax the poor or what you want to... It doesn't matter. It's climate change. It's
Yep.
the friggin' Earth.
Yep.
So this whole these arguments, and what it boils down to is whether it's man-made or not. Who cares? Either way, it's happening. Let's do something about it.
But
even if we're wrong, we're still doing something good. Like, if we're wrong, right, and climate change isn't happening at the rate we think it is, or if it isn't man-made, the worst thing that's happened is, oops, we have accidentally made the world a better place to live in.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, that's it.
Absolutely. I absolutely 100% agree with you. But this is, this is the end of a systemic problem. For years now, within the media especially, and a lot of stuff coming out of, especially out of the US and the UK and, and everything else like that, has been anti-intelligista.
Yeah.
So anti anybody that actually knows what they're talking about. Anti-scientist, anti-fact, anti whatever, because what these people are saying is uncomfortable and difficult and hard to sell, right? So what's being sold is this sort of anti-intelligista idea, this, Trump sums it up with fake news, right? This idea that facts actually don't matter. Like, what's actually happening, research, facts, whatever, are all debatable. Like, they are all, we can have a fact, and that, as you said, this idea of enlightened centrism, this idea that you can sit there and go, well, that's a fact, right? But it depends on how you look at the fact. I have my own rights to look at that fact in a different way than you do. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
It's a fact. Yeah. It's black and white. This is what it is. Yeah? And this is how political parties have spun lots of different stuff. And climate change has become the latest thing. It's become the latest thing to spin to your own agenda. Either, generally, if you tend to head right, it's not happening and it's all completely fabricated by scientists. If you head left, then it's kind of, yes, okay, we accept it and it's very noble, but we've got to be realistic about what we can actually achieve over the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Nobody's sitting there going, okay, hang on, this is an absolute crisis, we need to do something drastic about it, and we need to do something drastic now. And sometimes, we need drastic shifts of course. Like, the issue is that, like, okay, I'm going to use an example. It's like we're sailing on a ship, right? And we're heading towards a reef. And we can see the reef, and we know the reef is there. And it's coming up quickly. And we're like, at some point, we're going to get past the point of no return for us hitting this reef, okay? Currently, we are standing on the deck of the ship, arguing about, number one, whether the reef exists. Number two, whether, if we drastically change course to avoid the reef, whether that will upset some of the cargo in the hold, so therefore we shouldn't do it. Because, we want all the cargo to stay exactly where it is, so we shouldn't drastically change course to avoid this reef. So maybe a gradual, change might sort of take us past without, nobody's, sort of sitting there and going, hang on a minute, we've got to get our hands on the tiller, get ourselves the fuck away from the reef, and then work out what the hell's happening. Like, it's this weird situation where,
But it's also, that's tomorrow's problem too. That reef, we don't have to deal with it, right? Like, it's we're fine right now.
But we have come to accept that in cases like that argument that's happening on deck is a completely logical thing to happen. That's completely fine. That's exactly what we should be doing. We should be having that argument, and we should be, debating the various merits of the color of the T-shirt that the person with their hand on the tiller is wearing. Like, that has become, like, we are heading along into a reef, and people are saying we need to shift the course of the boat. And we're also sitting there at the same time going, oh, yeah, but I don't like the colour of his shirt. Or, yeah, but his policies on food rations aren't great. Like, at the moment, we're heading towards a reef. That is the most important thing. How this has become a political issue, I don't understand.
Do you know the first thing, and that's really well said, the first thing I say to people who tend to be around, maybe late 40s, 50s, 60s, who start with that argument. And I've said it quite a bit the last few weeks, actually, surprisingly and disappointingly. I've had to say this, and the first thing I say is, it doesn't matter what you fucking think because you'll be fucking dead.
Yep.
Doesn't affect you. You'll be dead.
Yep.
It's your kids
Yep.
that'll affect. So don't worry. And I say that, I'm just frank. I'm like,
Yep.
don't worry. You won't have to worry about it. It's your children.
Yep.
And their grandchildren. Your grandchildren.
But the other example that I want to use is that the naysayers for slavery were like, the economy's going to collapse, the entire empire is going to collapse, businesses are going to collapse, we can't survive without slave labor. Here we are.
Yeah.
More prosperous than ever, more educated than ever, you know,
Exactly.
without slave labor. So just because you find it difficult to see how your current business model is going to work without slave labor or without massively polluting the climate or whatever, doesn't mean that there isn't a way to do it. It just means that you have to look at it, and it doesn't mean that there isn't a way to be profitable.
That's right.
Without doing it. You just have to look at it. Like, you know, slavery, bad. Climate change, bad. I just don't understand how this has become a political
Why is
issue.
that controversial? Yeah. Why is that a controversial opinion?
Yeah, but you
It
know,
seems to be,
5 years ago, I'd have said to you that, you know, walking down a street in America with a neo-Nazi flag and a shaved head, you know, espousing, you know, incredibly racist views, was one of those, what do you call it, lines in the sand that everybody, regardless of political allegiance, would turn around and be like, yeah, that's a bad thing. That's something that we don't accept here.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
we live in this, you know, sort of, I've heard it described as the post-truth society. This kind of weird idea that you can be horrific, you know, you can have views and things
My
that...
freedom of speech.
I know! Views that, like, before would have been, you know, held as absolutely contemptible, and somehow we're like, oh, well, you know, no, we've got to allow them to espouse hate.
Do you know, you can't debate. This is the thing as well. I mean, you hear it all the time, you know, freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. You can't debate with a Nazi or a fascist. You can't. Like, if you're having an argument with someone who truly believes a race should be wiped out,
Yeah.
you can't argue with that. There's no argument to be had because it's a logical fallacy because they've already seceded the fact that they're not willing to have a constructive or an intelligent debate with you.
But facts don't matter.
They don't.
Like
it's like fucking World War II, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're invading fucking Poland. Oh, look, we'll let them do it this time.
Yeah.
We'll be very angry with them, though.
Czechoslovakia's gone.
Yeah, oh, well, look, we're not happy about it, but, you know, you actually have to hit them with force.
Yeah.
And I'm about to say this, and I don't care if it gets me. Like, you know, everyone got real upset about that Nazi who was punched. Remember that?
Yeah,
Well,
you should be able to punch a Nazi in the face.
You should be able to punch a Nazi in the face.
I don't care.
No.
I'm quite happy to stick my name up there. I'd
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
happily punch.
I'd
quite happily punch a Nazi in the face.
happily punch
Like
a Nazi as
I
well.
don't care.
Yeah.
The same thing. I'm not going to say, you know, punch climate change deniers in the face, but like I sit there and I go and I fall down in exactly the same category with you, and I go, it's going to be my life. It's going to be my children's life. And it's going to be my grandchildren's life. Like, and whether they are actually going to be able to survive on this planet comes down to decisions that we make now.
Exactly.
And if you disagree, fuck you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I am like, how does whether we should take the chance on this, how is that even a question?
Yeah.
Like, it's like sitting there and going, you know, well, it could be that. It also could not be that. We know that if we don't change, maybe things will be okay. Maybe. Large possibility it won't be. If we do change things, at worst, it's going to get less bad.
Yeah.
And you go,
Yeah.
okay, so how is this a decision? How is this,
That's right.
you know, how is this even something that we have to debate?
And do you know, like, if you own, and just sort of to wrap this up, like, if you were an incredibly wealthy billionaire who happened to
you just
own...
don't know that. No. Yeah.
Then why are we recording in this shithole?
What do you mean? This is a very flash
I'm
flash
in
studio.
our studio.
Yeah.
No, if you're a wealthy
Yeah.
billionaire who owns several news networks,
Yep.
or even if you don't own several news networks and you wish to sway public opinion about something that will cut into your shareholders' profit, what do you do? You buy a news network and you tell people exactly
what
what
to
you
think.
want them to believe.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Like, I mean, look at,
Yeah.
you know, again, to wrap this up, I'm going to say Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah.
Look at it, and
Yeah.
you look at, you know, America, you look at Australia, you look at everywhere else like that, places where he has his tendrils hooked in so much to every news agency and everything else like that. Politicians cannot come out and speak against somebody like Rupert Murdoch or his ideals or his beliefs. This is Mr. Fox News and Sky News, for those of you that aren't aware. They can't come out and speak because he gets people elected, because he will assassinate your character to enough people that you will lose political office if you can't. And he has some horrific beliefs. Horrific beliefs.
I really wish.
So,
I
you know,
wish Rupert. I mean, he'll be long dead, but I wish. I wish Rupert Murdoch would be around for the to actually
cataclysm.
experience
Oh.
the
just, you know, yeah, it's
Hideous.
evil. That is
Hideous-
evil. That
hideous
is
human
evil to
being.
me.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Right.
That sums up what's on top. Okay. So moving right along into Uncanny Valley. So I have one little article here for you today in Uncanny Valley, because this sort of caught my interest as I was heading along, and you might have seen this article because it got shared quite a lot, and I think it's a rather bizarre concept. So this is in the Herald. All-inclusive nude cleaning business looks set to open up in Auckland and looks to hire staff. So if you can buff in the buff, we've got the job for you. A nude cleaning business opening soon in Auckland is looking to hire people of all shapes, sizes, ethnicities, genders, and ages. Nude Cleaning is a new Kiwi startup business looking to provide a service to cater for all Kiwi groups, including straight men and women and the LGBTQ plus communities. Launching on November the 1st, prices will range from $99 to $179 an hour, depending on the level of nakedness the customer desires from the cleaner. Some perks include the customer being able to choose the underwear they would like the cleaner to wear, as well as being allowed to prance around in the nude with the staff member. Customers can also bring a friend, but you have to let the business know beforehand. However, the company warns, as part of their terms and conditions, customers are not allowed to touch the cleaners or try to become sexual with them. Other benefits include the cleaning part of the service, of course. Staff members will do the usual household chores with eco-friendly products, and they will try to take on special requests. And then they just sort of talk a little bit more about it. So I find this idea bizarre, right? So I find this idea bizarre. Not that people will pay huge amount of money to have naked people clean their house, or not that people will pay a huge amount of money to dress people up in certain things to clean their house. What I find rather funny about this, or rather weird about this, is it is inherently sexual. Like, if you are offering a service in which you can dress up your cleaner in whatever you want them to wear, and, you know, have them prance around in the nude and everything else like that, it is inherently sexual. You are not hiring a nude cleaner because you're just like, I just want my house cleaned. Especially when you're paying that kind of money, which is way above what you would pay for a normal cleaner to come in and clean your house. You're not, it's inherently sexual. I just don't understand how they are going to justify or keep this in a way that it is non-sexual.
The first thing, because Caroline didn't read the article, but she sort of read the headline the other day, and the first thing she said was, I don't get it, because cleaning is not sexy.
No.
So, why?
It isn't. No, it isn't.
Not,
it isn't. Like, somebody scrubbing your toilet is not.
No. I mean, I know there's that whole, French maid thing that's, a trope that's been around for a long time.
But you're not getting them in to clean your house because you want your house clean.
No, that's right. It's...
I just foresee so many issues with this, because you are marketing.
It's a lawsuit walking nightmare.
You are marketing almost an entirely sexual product to people who are purchasing it because it is a sexual product, but saying to them, no, this isn't about sex. This isn't about being sexual.
I think they have to say that. See, I think they have to say that to get around laws. Mm-hmm. So I think what this may be, and I might be off base here, and I don't know. Don't get angry at me, this business, or but I feel like they're saying that to cover their own asses, but it is of course it's intended to be a incredibly sexual service,
Yeah.
or and I raised my eyebrows when you said "and other special requests."
I know. Like,
Is it a bit like a
So-
massage parlor where it's like,
so you can, so I'm trying to work out
one
what
of
that
those
special request is.
is it one of those sort of
So you
talked
can
about things?
Yeah, so you can
Like-
pick what they wear or don't wear, as
Yeah.
the case may be, depending on how much you're playing, and other special requests. It's like, I don't quite understand. Like, as a cleaning company, like, I don't understand what other special requests would look like.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? They've already said, like, you can choose your cleaner, you can, from any gamut of, age, ethnicity, or blah 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 blah. And they will wear whatever you want them to wear or don't want them to wear, and other special requests. I'm like, that's like, hang on, like, what
Yeah.
else falls into other special requests?
Yeah.
I want you to make the bed.
Yeah, please enlighten us. About this.
Yeah, please enlighten us as to what like another special request would be. But like,
Go to I guess because it's in your own home as well. Is it? I don't know. I was gonna say just go to a friggin'.
but
if
the
you're
other
into
thing
it,
is,
just go to a
but the other
strip
thing is,
club,
they're
though.
like, the other thing is they're like, you can prance around nude with them
Yeah, that's weird. That's
while
really weird.
while they clean your house.
Yeah.
And you can bring a friend as long as you let the company know beforehand. I'm like, this is just something horrible waiting to happen.
Yeah,
like
it
it
is.
it
It
is
is.
legitimately something
it
horrible
sounds.
waiting
It
to
sounds
happen.
like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll see a follow-up news article in a few
I would imagine
months.
so.
That, yeah,
Prove us right.
prove us right. Yeah.
All right, cool. Right, shall we move on? Let's move on to 30-second waffle, eh?
30-second.
We'll blast on through 30-second waffle. And I can't remember who went first last time. Was it you or me?
I can't remember actually.
All right, well, we'll say you're going to go first. Just because I can. Right, you've got the timer up here because
I've got the
we've
timer,
been
yep.
specifically told by producer Caroline. So producer Caroline is actually away today.
Yeah,
she's
she's
had to.
she's at
She
work.
actually has to be at work. So we've got some special things in. Now both of these, I believe, there's two in here. Both of these are from me. So today Anthony is going to be doing a James special.
A James special.
Of questions
Double
to
the
answer.
James here.
Okay.
All right. I'll
So
just.
right, we look.
have to start
We
it
can't
yet,
even
though,
get the we can't even get the timer right.
Goodness
right.
me.
What is it?
With the success of American Idiot, what the world needs is Nickelback the musical.
Brilliant.
Um,
See, it's a phenomenal question.
It is.
Yeah. you want it.
Okay, so the best thing about musicals is that, especially jukebox musicals, is that songs can be molded to fit around a storyline. The great thing about Nickelback is that their songs are so simplistic. It's really easy to fit any narrative around their songs. Like, they've got a song called Photograph. Like, could literally just be about a photograph the main character's picked up. There's one called Rockstar. Literally could just be about them being a rock star. Like, so you could literally morph thousands of different narratives around these very simple songs. And that's why it would be a phenomenal musical for once.
Brilliant. Well done. Like I'm quite impressed that the
Nickelback the musical.
I know, Nickelback the musical. How horrific would that be? I couldn't think of a good name. The reason I couldn't think of a good name is because I don't know any Nickelback albums, so I couldn't be like, this album, the musical. Do you know what I mean? Like, in the same way that I could with, like, American Idiot.
Yeah, no, I don't know any either.
No, but, like, I love that you went down the track of, like, justifying how ubiquitously general their songs are.
Yeah,
so that's why we can craft
bit
a
of a
narrative.
jab,
we
yeah,
can craft
yeah.
a narrative around it.
Yeah.
Like, I like how you dodged the quality of their music and went for, like, the ubiquitous generality of it.
Yeah.
Right, okay. This is from Haley. Okay, why Christmas is the worst time of year?
Ooh,
Why Christmas
good one.
is... It is a good one. Why Christmas is the worst time of year? Because I do actually generally quite like Christmas. Okay. Christmas is the absolute worst time of year for the majority of people. It's great if you work in an office job that closes down over Christmas, or you're a teacher or something else like that, and you get that time off to spend with your family. It sucks if you're a minimum wage worker who's having to arrive on Christmas Eve and stay till Boxing Day to open for sales because of all you fuckers who have nothing better to do than spend money and return gifts. It is horrific. You don't get to spend time with family. You are dealing with the worst members of humanity. Christmas is the worst time of year if you are in retail.
Nice. Very good.
It's true. It is awful.
Yeah.
If you work in retail, Christmas is horrific.
Yeah.
It is horrific. And I always used to hate, like, I worked in retail for years. I always used to hate, you'd get emails through from, the big bosses up there, and, HQ, you get the emails through, and they'd be like, just hoping you have a great, holidays with your family and blah, blah, blah. And you were like, motherfucker, I'm here till midnight because you've got this fucking store open till midnight. I'll be here till 1 o'clock in the morning because I've got to change over the sale signage because we go on Boxing Day sale on Boxing Day. And then I'm back here at 6-7 o'clock in the morning on Boxing Day. So at what fucking time do you think I'm going to see my family? I live, hours away from my family, which would mean that I would either be driving through the night or having to get up super early on Christmas Day so that I could spend a couple of hours seeing my family. I couldn't drink or anything else like that because then I'd have to drive back. So I'm here to open the store the next day while you take your 5-6 week vacation, going, it's so wonderful. We think of everyone that works for this company like family. Like, we really do. We're one big family. Yeah. No, you're not. Bullshit. You're one giant abusing corporate machine that churns people out. And I'm so sick of people using that term. We're like a family. We fucking aren't like a family.
No.
You pay me minimum wage and work the shit out of me, and then when I'm done, you replace me with someone else.
Damn. Well said, and very fantastic indictment on capitalism.
Oh, yep. All right, here we go.
Just...
I don't know why I'm shaking this. You've got
there's one
in there.
Like,
yeah. I could shake it. I'm just mixing it up.
Here you go. This is another one from James.
Yeah.
Drama is an inherent part of doing amateur theatre, and people should just get over it. Sorry, choking on my. I'm gonna.
You can pause that while you choke. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I think that's.
I'll try that again.
I think that's within the rules.
Yeah, that's definitely in the rules. Okay. Okay.
Here we go.
That's how much it threw me.
Yeah.
Drama is an inherent part of amateur theatre due to the types of people and personalities that you get in amateur theatre, and unfortunately, you get people who drama attracts egos, and it attracts people who think who think very highly of themselves, but who also don't really have a whole lot going on in their own lives, so they have to try and make other people's lives miserable. And that's basically it. Now, what I just said, there's probably some truth to that.
I think the difficult part of that question was people should just get over it.
People should not just get over it.
No, I think that, and this is not an indictment on everybody who does theatre, because there have been some wonderful people that I have met through amateur theatre, and for yourself the same. I mean, we met through amateur theatre.
We did, yeah.
There's some wonderful people. There are also some very damaged and horrific people who again, this comes back to what we were talking about earlier on in the podcast. When you can't attack the idea or whatever, you attack the person. And unfortunately, we see the same thing within amateur theatre, around if you can't attack the work that somebody does, you attack the person. And I wholeheartedly believe, and this may be a relatively controversial thing to say, I wholeheartedly believe we need to say enough is enough in our artistic communities, in those sorts of things, and not just be like, it's just drama. It's just part of being. It's just part of.
That's just their personality.
Yeah,
I've heard that one a lot. Yeah, it's just them.
We actually should be stopping that and going. Actually, do you know what? this is not what this is about. This is not what being part of this is about. And we've both been involved in things outside of theatre where you go, hang on a minute, they seem to be able to get along without any of this kind of stuff going on in the background. So, it's something that I feel for the betterment of all we should get rid of relatively quickly. And
I do think
enjoy
it's quite,
what it is that we actually
it can
do.
be quite specific to theatre.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because I've taken a bit of it, just like a bit of background. I've taken a bit of a hiatus from theatre.
Yeah.
And but I've been quite involved in other communities and other sort of semi-professional organisations, and have had none of the issues. That are inherent and entrenched in theatre, and I think, like James said, I think it's the arts in general. You unfortunately,
and as you said, it's fragile egos, it's all of those sorts of things. But I do sort of think that at some point we've got to go, you know what, enough is enough. Like actually, we're here to do theatre. We're here to love what we do and do some really wonderful shit. And you do meet some wonderful people, and I don't want to shit on theatre in general. But there is sort of an attitude sometimes that actually it's fine to say things about people that you wouldn't say anywhere else. Or to treat people in a way that you wouldn't treat people anywhere else. And I think that's horrific, and I think it needs to stop. Right, cool. Last one.
All right.
Here we go.
I'll just
You just get the timer ready while
I'm quite glad this is the last one. Actually,
this is the
I'm
last
quite
one.
glad this is the last one.
Do you need to go?
No, I don't.
Why-
I just think it's really good for the last question.
Why change is a good thing? Why change is a good thing? This is a brilliant question. And it's a brilliant question because I believe wholeheartedly in it. I remember once, a very long time ago, whenever I was working for a company called EB Games, and I remember watching a very inspirational speaker talk about change. And the theme of his speech was change is good, embrace change. And it's something that has stuck with me for a very long time. Change is good. It's scary and it's hard. It's confronting, but it is good. Through change, you grow. If you don't change, you die. And that's it. Change is good. That's the end of it. But change is very hard. I know a lot of people in situations who are in bad situations or who are in horrible situations and they're only in those situations because change is difficult. Change quite often requires you to look within and to look at yourself and what it is that you actually want from life, or where it is that you want to go, what it is that you want to do, and do something that scares the shit out of you. And again, it's one of the reasons that I like Anthony so much is Anthony's one of those great people at going, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a go. And learning lessons from it. Which then pushes me to do the same thing. And go, shit, I don't know how I'm going to do this or what's going to happen, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. And you grow through that, and you change through that, and you evolve through all of those things. So I think change is incredibly important. The moment that you sit there and go, you know what, I'm done. This is it. You are done. That's the end of you. So change is good. Embrace change.
100%.
Always.
It's a really good way to end the podcast.
Awesome.
Nice.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us yet again.
On episode, I can't even remember what it is. It's 30 something.
Oh, God, I don't know. I think we're in like late 30s now, aren't we?
We are. I think it's 36, 37, somewhere around there.
If people ever wanted to destroy us, like,
just watch
for what we said, they could just stock up.
It would actually be that hard.
Cut together all this stuff.
It'll be brilliant.
Yeah.
All right, so have a phenomenal 2 weeks.
Yes. Sorry, I have to say this before.
No.
James is, as you would have noticed with the streams and stuff, James is currently in Avenue Q. It's fantastic. I saw it last night. It's very funny, very fantastic. Really well directed, really well everything. All the actors fantastic.
Awesome.
So if you haven't seen it, I know the podcast. You'll be hearing this on Monday.
Yep.
So
we still have 2 shows to do.
Still have 2 more shows.
Yep.
quickly go get tickets and go and see it. It's fantastic.
It'll be awesome.
Go and do it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much. Enjoy, for those of you that have school holidays. Enjoy your school holidays. I know we've just started school holidays. For those of you who don't have school holidays, I'm very sorry. Enjoy the next 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know you still have to go to work. And join us on Wednesday, because we've already done Sunday streams, but join us on Wednesday for Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Catch you later.